anything on my end?
No, we're live.
Okay.
All right, everyone. It's Friday, and we're here to talk about, are you leaving money on the table? As a non-profit, are you leaving money on the table? Or I should rephrase, are you harnessing every opportunity available to you to be able to raise money and support for the mission that you work on every day? Or you're basically just coasting through, whatever works, whatever happens. Um, this is very important because, of course, we've had, if you ask 1,000 nonprofits what's the number one challenge, they would tell you 70 to 80% will tell you it is funding. And surprisingly, when you look into these organizations, you tend to see that they are not even harnessing as much opportunity as available to them. You tend to see that they're scrambling around one or two things that are not really working for them. So that's why we've decided to bring this forward today. We've decided to put this question back to you today. Are you leaving money on the table? Are you harnessing every opportunity available to you to raise money for your organization? So today, of course, I have Sharon with me, the very excellent Sharon. She's a wealth of knowledge. We're going to be talking about this topic together. We're going to be really looking into the nitty gritty of this topic. And, of course, we're going to be capturing enough value for you, the audience. So please stay in touch, stay connected, and feel free to ask any question. Just drop the question in the comment section below. I'll put it up to Sharon so she can take it up. So, Sharon, thank you for joining us today. I'm so happy to have you here today. Tell me, what do you think about this in general? Why are nonprofit not harnessing all the opportunities available to them? Why this phenomenon? Because, of course, if funding is a challenge, you should be going after it with all your resources. Why are people not taking the action? What is happening with nonprofits, and what's your view towards the situation?
Absolutely. First of all, thank you for having me today. I'm so excited to be here to tackle this important topic. So, I think the first thing we have to think about is who are the nonprofits that we're speaking of? Because I categorize them in a couple of different buckets. One, there are startup nonprofits. Those are organizations that are fairly new to the scene and working in this space. They maybe have a new board, and they're really beginning to think about how they're going to raise support for their organization. And then the second group that I want to speak to is established nonprofits that's been around doing a lot of great work. They may be single site organizations or multiple site organizations that's doing incredible work in the community and have had some success in fundraising, but they're ready to take it to the next level. And then I want to speak to the audience that are called like our mega nonprofits, those that are probably national and international, multi-million dollar organizations that are doing great work around the world. So, with that in mind, let me speak to the first group. So, with that group that is a startup, I think it's really important that they understand a couple of things that they need to put in place before they really even begin the journey of raising money. And that is making sure that they have a strong, well trained, and onboarded board of directors that are passionate about the mission and have the skill sets and ability to influence, to bring their circle of influence, their network to the organization, that they can be advocates, they have their elevator speech in place, they know they speak to anybody and everybody about the organization, to not only raise funds, but also raise awareness, which then really translates into dollars. Some of that is really translates into in kind. Say, for instance, you have a large gala that you want to do or a golf outing, and your organization really can't afford it. if you have a strong, well-connected board, you may be able to get all of the things that you need to put on such a grand event in kind or free, with some underwriting and corporate sponsorships, which is a whole nother topic we'll cover later. But I think beginning to look at who do you have around the table. Now, this is that small startup organization that's just brand new, thinking about what are we going to do to raise money. The second piece for them is to really begin to gather your community. Who is your tribe? Are you gathering that community through social media? Are you making sure that everyone is just making sure it's like second, third degree of separation, getting your message out, letting individuals know what you do? And then thirdly, the people that are benefiting from your services that your program provides, they can give testimonials, because the strength of your work is the success of the delivery that you're providing for whatever audience you are, whether it's a daycare center, whether it is a health program, whatever it is. Make sure that those program participants know your mission and be able to explain the value that what you are doing is adding to their lives, because that will go a long way for people who want to give, to really be able to, it's like, wow, they're making a difference. Let me write a check. Let me send money. So that's, I think, a nucleus, and it's very simplistic. There are a number of different other things that we can put together for an organization like that. We have a tool that's called 100 Fundraising Ideas for New Startups. So that's a tool that we use to really help those organizations to get on board. Now, the thing about the smaller ones are they don't have a fundraising staff. They don't have a team. It's usually the founder and maybe one other person, which usually is a family member. So that's why you really want a strong board that's ready to roll up their sleeves and get to do the work, so you can then build up the organization to be able to now have operational money to hire the staff that you need, to not only do fundraising, but to run your program sufficiently and effectively. So I'm going to pause there, see if we had any questions come in, because then I'll move on to the second bucket. We're
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for that insight, Sharon. You basically just laid it all out, like you threw it all out on us, and I
Yeah.
like I like to forward this.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me speak to the second bucket. And this is the nonprofits that you spoke about earlier when you said 90% of them, when you're doing all of your outreach and speaking to them, they're struggling with funding. Now, these are the organizations that are in the middle. They're the ones that I believe are doing the most work, having the greatest impact in their communities, and they're just stuck. They're frustrated. They're really trying to figure out, how do I grow from where we are? They have a stable staff, they have stable programs, they have a well informed board that participates, but they're stuck. They want to take their organization from this dollar amount to the next dollar amount. So that group is a unique group, and it's many of them. And I love working with them because we have the opportunity to now work with their teams to do coaching. We go in and do something called a resource development or fund development audit. And what that audit does, we come in like any other audit. If you did a fiscal audit, you look at everything fundraising. What are you doing? And we gather all that information. We also have a board survey that we have the board fill out. It's not a self assessment, but it's really like, how are they engaged in resource development? And so you'll hear me use the word term resource development and fundraising synonymously. So with that audit, then we look at everything. What is your social media presence? What do your appeals look like? Your letter campaign? Are you doing thankathons? How are you stewarding your donors? How are you cultivating your donors? So we look at everything in the audit. It takes about 30 days for us to complete that audit. And we come back with a full diagnostic of what it is that you need to do to take your organization to the next level. I love doing audits because I would say 50% of the audits that we do, we find that organizations rely too heavily on one source of revenue. And I want you to guess what it is: grants. So they're
Wow.
either getting grant money from either public or private dollars. They've not focused on cultivating individual donors that are giving recurring gifts sustainably over the organization. And so they're on this hamster wheel, grant after grant after grant, and grants aren't guaranteed. And when you do receive it, it has a time stamp on it. It's for 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, whatever. And you're starting that cycle over. And what we do when we find organizations that are caught up in that kind of madness of grant after grant, we help them build a resource development plan that encompasses diversification. So you're going to diversify your funding streams. You want to make sure that you have a healthy mix of grants, both public and private. You want to make sure that you do events, and those events are driving your ROI. You know exactly what revenue is coming in that you're netting from those events. And then you want to focus on individual giving. According to USA Giving, which is one of the premier organizations that really tracks philanthropy in the United States, they say that 64% of all philanthropy comes from individuals. Only a small percentage comes from corporations and foundations or grants. And so if you're spending all of your time on with the 35 to 40%, why aren't you tapping into the wealth? Why aren't you tapping into the 65% that are the individual donors? So then we work with you to build out a campaign to acquire individual donors, to move your donors that are currently in your system to maybe giving more frequent gifts, maybe giving larger gifts, maybe looking at planned gifts. And so this is a process and it's a system, but it's one that really will help you take your organization to the next level, but also make your organization sustainable. Because you cannot be sustainable with one like stream, one source of revenue coming in. That's not sustainable. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely because if that one stream goes out, you are
What are
out.
you gonna do? Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
I've had it was recently, I think I told you about this, where an executive director, a CEO of an organization called me and said, I heard about what you do with the audit and things like this. And this, I presented it to her 6 months before. She calls me and says, I'm 2 weeks away from not being, no, 2 pay periods away from not being able to make payroll.
Yeah, I remember.
So you waited 6 months for me now to come in and do the audit, but it's like almost like I can't help you, but I did help and we were able to get them on track. But again, because they have some assets and we were able to get a short term loan so they could just stay afloat in order to do some of the other work. But don't get in that space where you are struggling to figure out how you're going to be payroll or how you're going to make sure you have the infrastructure in place to deliver the programs that you want to deliver. And
Mhm.
then the third pocket is what I call the mega organizations. And we work with a few. And I love it because it's a machine. They have maybe 10 people in their development office. They have people that are working on grants, both federal grants, foundation grants, private individual foundations. Then they have people that are just doing special events. And then they have a team that's possibly working on major gifts. And major gifts is defined by them, but it's usually a gift of $10,000 or above capacity. And then they have individuals that are working on annual campaigns as well as monthly donors. And so that group, systematically, when you go in and do an audit, what I found is they have a heavy turnover. The turnover is so high because of the pressure. So if you have a portfolio as a major gifts officer of 125 people and you have to raise maybe $2 million a year, that's low, but let's just go with that. well, it's low for me, but not low for others. So that kind of level of pressure, it takes your mindset from philanthropy and donations to transactional. And so we do a whole piece where we talk about, what is the difference between transactional giving and then giving through the heart and passion and things like that. And so
Right.
that's coming up in one of our webinars that we're doing. I think it's in a few weeks, where we look at, are we going from begging to asking, and what do those kind of things look like? But the
Mhm.
thing that I do with this group is I really help them focus on plan giving. And plan gifts are those estate gifts, because now you have people that have been giving to you for years. They love your programs. You've identified that they have some wealth and some assets. So you begin to talk to them about leaving you in their will, leaving you, setting up a trust for your organization, whatever that might be. And there's a whole laundry list of things that you can do in the plan giving space. In my course of my career, I raised over $120 million just in planned gifts for one organization in like less than 5 years. So it is doable. And there are a number of tools and resources that we have that can help you with that. But the beautiful thing that I love is what I call with the topic of this conversation. And this one will apply to any group on whatever level that you are. Are you leaving money on the table? Yes, you are. Because if you have not done a wealth screening of your existing database, if you have not done a market study within around your demographics that you serve, you are leaving money on the table. We have a package that we put together that's a wealth screening package, where we will work with you. We will take your existing donor base if you have one. We will run it through our wealth screen, and we will identify those individuals that have not only propensity to give, but they also have the ability to give. And you have some hidden gems in there. People that might be giving you like $5 every year, but they're mega millionaires or something. They're the ultra wealthy, but they like you, but you've never tailored, you don't know that. And so we help you tailor a approach to actually go after that individual, to bring them into the family, to give you a major, or mega gift, 6 or 7 figure gift. And so the wealth screening program is something that we love, that we've been doing, for years now. And I think it's going to be something that will help you not leave money on the table, because one, you'll identify low hanging fruit. Who are the people that are in your database already, that are already giving, so you can begin to build a strategy of bringing them closer in to be able to give more. Secondly, it will identify in your zip codes who are the people that don't know about you but have propensity to give to your cause, but you've not connected with. And so that is a valuable tool that you can make sure that we will help you not leave money on the table, because that is something that I would say you want to get on board with right away, because it's so key. You will begin to have these. I love doing these and looking at people on the other side having these aha moments of not knowing the pockets of wealth in their community, the pockets of wealth that are in their existing database. And then we help you build a strategy. We help you write the proposal to that individual. Some of our team go out with you on the call when you're doing that first initial introduction. This is where you want to get your board involved, to see who knows who. We do some relationship mapping, to see who knows who, and really put it all together. And you walk away sometimes with 6 and 7 figure gifts, because you've done your homework. And that's what it's all about.
Wow, 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 wow. You just keep giving and giving, Sharon. This is so insightful. I could basically plot out, the map of any organization with just what you just laid out here, from mega organizations to medium-sized organizations, then to small organizations. Thank you so much, Sharon. I hear you when you said fundraising audits. I heard you when you said wealth screening. I heard you when you said market study. I think all these are very interesting and important concepts. CEOs, non-profit founders, board leaders must take into account if they want to ensure the success of their organization, if they want to be able to bring in the money, the support that they need to be able to function. And one interesting thing I've always, seen is how the market study is able to help you really capture that target audience you should
Yeah.
really, create a plan of care for. The market study helps you look into the postcode, look into your the a particular area you want to look
Yeah.
into, and then you can identify target audience, prospective donors, millionaire household, family businesses, depending on the target of the target audience you're looking to identify. And then, of course, you can now develop a specific plan of care depending on how much you're looking to bring in from these kind of donors that you're looking to reach out to. So thank you so much, Sharon. You've said so much. Is there more you still? I think there's still so much you want to give us. Oh,
No, I'm going to, we'll have to do this again soon.
okay.
I do want to encourage those that are feeling so discouraged. There is hope. We can help. Um, you can see transformation in your organization in a matter of 30 days, 15 to 30 days, particularly if you just get the market study or the wealth screening, because we then will employ our team to help you build out strategies to, I love what you say, the plan of care, for those individuals that you want to approach to share the good news about the good work that you're doing. So let us help you. That's what we're here to do. And I thank you, Rooney. Rooney is our Vice President of Client Services, but he does so much more than that. We are so happy to have him a part of our team. And in the coming weeks, you'll meet more individuals on our team that are just poised to really help you grow your organization. So thank you, Rooney, for your time. I really appreciate this. This is fun. I love talking about this because it's where my heart is. I've been doing this work for, I'm going to say 25 plus years because the other numbers sound so scary when I put it out there. So let's just say 25 plus years. So yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Sharon. And you guys don't forget we have webinars coming up next week. Join us from disengaged to devoted. Transforming your board members to fundraising champions. It's gonna be led by Sharon. She's gonna be giving you more insight. And if you want to hear more, of course, schedule a free call with us. We'll talk to you. We'll provide you insight, help you look into your organization to see opportunities available to you. So until we see you again, bye bye. Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, bye bye.